I can say this because there are parts of Nigeria that has worked. There are governors that we can say, hey, you did well. So much that if the country was doing like they did in their states in particular point in time, I don't want to mention any name, would have said, okay. So it's a part that we can do. It's a possibility. You see, there is this thing I say to my friends. I say, for me, the Nigeria I have inherited is a Nigeria that I'm not proud of. But the excuse is that it was handed over to me by my fathers. So what excuse do I now have for my children? That a Nigeria that is not good enough was handed over to me. And hey, children, I couldn't do anything about it, so I'm handing over this same Nigeria, probably in same form or in worse form for you. And when you think about that phrase, you begin to bear some form of shame if you are not doing anything possible. But you see, like you rightly said, Nigeria is not as bad as it is painted. You call it America, you call it the UK, or you call it any part of the developed world. It just takes a group of people who understand where the nation should be and take hard decisions and ensure that policies and programs are lined up, like you rightly said, to get to that place. Sometimes you may not even be appreciated in the beginning, but you'll be appreciated at the end. What I'm saying is, Nigeria is full of people enough to create a change that we need. It's just that the opportunity has not been created in many areas.
Opportunity?
Now, I'm going there.
Hold on. Opportunity has not been created.
Yes.
Is it that, or is it that sentiment sometimes becloud the opportunities that are there?
Good. All of this comes into play. Now, look at it. Let me make it more practical. I don't want to go academical with this whole matter. Like I said, ab initio, Nigerians by themselves need to sacrificially put on the wheel to create that change. Let me give you an example. Elections are coming. The reigning thing in Nigeria is vote buying. What stops the average Nigerian from saying, you rogue politician whose track record shows that you have stolen from our commonwealth and you are handing over peanuts to me, maybe 15,000 or 10,000 to vote for you? What stops Nigerians from taking the money and still vote that person out of portfolio?
Why should they even take the money in the first place?
No. Why do you know? No, I don't want to go too extreme. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I don't want to go too extreme. So if you come back to and now the point I was trying to make to you when I talk about nations, you discover that even in the so-called developed nations, you have rogues, you have thieves, you have bad people. It's just that the nations have self-realized at a particular point in time that, okay, based on your track record and who you are, you'll be able to flesh up the discipline and lead our nation from point A to point. That's why in developed countries, before they vote for you, they don't just listen to your manifesto. They track you even out up to how you deal with family issues, because a whole lot of responsibility is going to be given to you. So the point I'm trying to make is that I don't know how we are going to do it. I've not read how we are going to achieve this in any particular book or literature. But firstly, the problem with leadership first lies in Nigeria. Like she rightly said here, that we don't have a vision, a common vision. It's fairly not true. I say this, that we all need good roads. We all need good hospitals. We all need good health and good schools. Every one of us subscribe to this, at least these basics. Do you understand? So you discover that Nigerians are together on these issues. You get what I'm trying to say? And even when you talk about tribalism and whatnot, now, when you go to a particular height in the Nigerian society, the tribalism and the religion doesn't work. Look at it in the corporate society. Irrespective of your tribe, irrespective of religion, they come together and do good businesses together in their private endeavors.
And when it comes to corruption, when they're sharing,
your tribe
all of
this is dropped. So what I'm trying to say finally is that we can be united by all of these things, but how have we been able to articulate, put these things together, even in electioneering time, to see how we can vote people who can selflessly represent these things? It has happened, probably in one local government, in one state. You know, there was a time in Nigeria where, in 1999, when corruption was a form of infrastructure in Nigeria, there were 1 or 2 governors that were outstanding. I don't want to say their names in order not to blow their trumpet. 1 or 2 governors that were outstanding when corruption was an infrastructure around Nigeria. But you see, so that tells you that there's a possibility of us to get the kind of leadership that we need. And like you rightly said, the parade commander for others to follow. And Nigerians like good things and they will follow.
Okay. He said, I haven't seen a written manual on how this can be done. But again, I go back to the anthem.
Okay.
Can that anthem, you know, there's no road that raised it all. Stanza 1 and 2. Can that anthem be, and the pledge, be the manual to get this nation and governance to where it should be?
All right. I will say yes. But I will extend it a little to even the second stanza, because I've been in few functions where we actually even said that as a national prayer. And when you look at the content of those items, the anthem, begin to pick out, when you look closely, you begin to see what are those things that actually deliver a great nation. Now, it talks about the beginning. Arise, O compatriots. That suggests to me a unified people to serve our nation. That emphasizes service. That
first, Nigeria's call, obey.
Nigeria call, obey. So I must first and foremost see myself as I am a Nigerian. And then service. As you go further, you see justice. I'm just picking here and there and all of that. The question is, by the time you study most of these nations that some of our leaders want to go and rest in, and where some of us like to visit and do 1 or 2 things, you will just discover that nothing else than all of these values and virtues took them to where they are.
Yeah.
Now, take for instance, someone says, I'm going to sell to you 10 kg of beef. You bought 10 kg of beef and you paid for 10 kg of beef. But getting home, 10 kg has become 7 kg. It means that I have not lived in the reality of that anthem, because if honesty has been a virtue and a value to me, I wouldn't have done that. And then the day you discover that I sold to you 7 kg as 10, you won't come back the next time. Let me just digress a little. I was in a class and somebody was sharing with me.
You got to make it quick, because we're running out of time.
And the person said he went to Dubai, and the driver that picked him from the airport was saying to him, sir, is this your first time? He said, yes. He said, it's my job to treat you well so that you can come back next time. And he said, because I know our national income is predominantly traceable to
people like you.
People like you. That, to me, that's a driver. I have taught before Vision 2020 in a class where I have MDs of organizations. They don't even understand the letters, not to talk of the spirit of Vision 2020. They don't know what it is. But a taxi driver understands the direction of his nation, and he could see his own role in it. So he said, therefore, I need to treat you well. I need to be honest in my dealing with you and all of that. These are values and virtues that make great nation. And all of them are in our national anthem.
And that is where, unfortunately, we have to anchor this morning. We've run completely out of time, and I'd like to thank Biodun Bamidele, a social commentator.
Thank you.
Norua Edopolo, development expert, and Alfred Kemepado, Secretary General, Ijaw Youth Council.
Thank you very much.
We didn't go too far with this discussion, but that is the nature of television. I'm sure you still have a lot to say. Thank you very much for coming. Sunrise will return with another very interesting conversation in just a moment. Make sure you join us.